Why is the world's most powerful nation, aka America, so scared of communism? To answer this, we must travel back in time to the era of the Cold War. It was a time of ideological division, a time when the world was split in two, each side wary of the other. The end of the Second World War saw the emergence of two superpowers, the United States of America and the Soviet Union. These two nations, although allies during the war, had vastly different visions for the future. The United States, a beacon of capitalism, championed the cause of free markets, individual liberty and democracy. It believed in a system where competition fueled progress and where individuals had the freedom to shape their own destinies. In stark contrast, the Soviet Union, the standard-bearer of communism, advocated for state control of resources, equality of outcome, and a classless society. It was a vision where the state was the architect of progress and where individuals played their part within a larger collective. The ideological chasm between these two superpowers was vast. For the United States, communism was seen as a direct threat to its way of life. It challenged the very ideals that America held dear: democracy, freedom, and individual liberty. It was not just a different way of governing, but a challenge to the core values of the American dream. By the end of World War II, two superpowers had emerged on the global stage, setting the scene for a clash of ideologies. The Cold War created a climate of fear and paranoia known as the Red Scare. This was a period in American history where the spectre of communism loomed large, casting long, ominous shadows on the ideals of freedom and democracy that the United States held dear. The Red Scare was characterized by a pervasive worry of a communist takeover within the American society and government. This fear was amplified by McCarthyism, a political practice named after Senator Joseph McCarthy, who stirred up public fear of communist infiltration. McCarthy's crusade against communism was marked by accusations and investigations, often without proper evidence, leading to a witch hunt-like atmosphere. The paranoia was not limited to the political arena. It seeped into the everyday lives of ordinary citizens who were encouraged to be vigilant against the perceived communist threat. Propaganda campaigns were launched, painting communism as a monstrous entity seeking to destroy the American way of life. School children were taught to duck and cover in case of a nuclear attack, and families were encouraged to build fallout shelters in their backyards. The US government took measures to combat this perceived threat. Legislation was passed and organizations were established to investigate and counteract communist activities. These actions, though controversial, were seen as necessary to protect the American ideals of freedom and democracy. Americans were led to believe that communism was not just a political ideology, but a serious and imminent threat to their way of life. The fear of communism was not confined to the borders of the United States. It was a spectre that haunted the world, casting its long shadow across continents. This anxiety gave birth to something known as the domino theory during the Cold War. The theory suggested that if one country fell to communism, its neighboring countries would follow suit, like a row of dominoes cascading down. This theory became the cornerstone of America's foreign policy. It led to the United States intervening in various regions around the world, involving itself in proxy wars and political machinations, all in an effort to halt the spread of communism. From the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of the Middle East, the United States was ever vigilant, ever ready to quell the red tide. The domino theory fueled America's fear, causing them to intervene in countries around the globe to prevent the spread of communism. The Cold War may be over, but the fear of communism still lingers in the United States. You may ask why this fear persists even in our modern era. Well, the answer is deeply rooted in the collective memory of the nation. The ideological battles of the past have left a lasting imprint on the American psyche. In today's political discourse, the term communism is often used as a political weapon, a spectre from the past, employed to stir up fear and mistrust. It's a ghost haunting the corridors of power and society. The perceived threat of communism continues to shape America's international relations, influencing decisions and policies. It's not just about economics or politics, it's about the identity of the nation the ideals that America stands for. The fear of communism is a fear of losing that identity, that essence. While the times have changed, the echo of the Cold War era still resonates in America's apprehension towards communism. Be sure to hit that like or subscribe button and keep being curious, beautiful, and continue learning. Check out some of my other videos and keep staying curious.